All right, so let's go over how to read the back of a package, including how to read the nutrition label on food. All packaged food will have a nutrition label on it if it arrives at the grocery store already packaged. This would be your quote unquote middle of the grocery store, boxed food, packaged food, canned food, frozen food. Some packaged meats will have a nutrition label on the back. Meats from the butcher department or loose fruits and vegetables will not have a nutrition label on the back. So how do we read a nutrition label? This is a nutrition label for plain raw almonds. At the top, we have the serving size. The calories and the nutrient breakdown below is per the serving size. In this case, the serving size is 1 ounce of almonds, 28 grams, or 1/4 cup of almonds. There's about 6 servings in the entire bag. So this is a 6-ounce bag of almonds. If you were to eat the entire bag of almonds, you would multiply all of these amounts by 6. So 1 ounce or 1/4 cup of almonds has about 160 calories in it. That 160 calories is made up of 14 grams of fat, 6 grams of carbohydrates, which the carbohydrates are then broken down into 4 grams of dietary fiber, 1 gram of a naturally occurring sugar, because there are no added sugars. So this gram of sugar is naturally occurring. And then I would imagine that the last gram to make up the 6 of carbohydrates is probably starch. Starch is not included on the nutrition labels. And then there are 6 grams of protein. So as you can see, you can get 6 grams of protein, which is nice from these almonds. You get 4 grams of fiber, which is also great, but you will be getting 14 grams of fat. These fat is broken down into all these different kinds of fat. They're still sort of discovering what all of these fats do in the body. So for the purposes of this series of presentations, we're not going to break fat down into the different types of fat. If you are concerned about fat and different types of fat, please consult like a dietitian or a doctor for answers on that. The next nutrition label is for canned salmon by Chicken of the Sea. This one I pulled up to basically look at serving sizes. So this is a large can of canned salmon. The serving or the breakdown that they have is for 3 ounces, and there's 5 servings per this container, so it's 15 ounces total of salmon. Salmon has 100 calories total for 3 ounces, 2 grams of fat, 0 grams of carbohydrates, and an awesome 20 grams of protein. I bring this up because I personally, if I was going to eat this salmon, 3 ounces with the 20 grams of protein is probably not enough for me. I would like about 30 grams of protein from my serving of salmon, so I would up this a little bit. And that would require a little bit of math if I wanted to exactly hit my 30 grams. But I think if I bumped it up a third to about 4 ounces of salmon, I would take a third of 20, which is about 6-ish, almost 7, and I'd be at 26, 27 grams of protein, and that would be good enough for me. Next, we're going to look at yogurt. So this is plain Greek Chobani yogurt. Greek yogurt and Icelandic yogurt, which is a new form of yogurt, are higher in protein than your Yoplait, Dannon yogurt. Always pick the Greek yogurt, or Icelandic yogurt for that matter. The other yogurts, the quote-unquote regular yogurts, have very little nutritional value to them. They're low in calories, but they do not have very much protein. They maybe have a little bit of fat, and they most likely have added sugar because there's not very many plain regular yogurts out there. But if you're going to go for a plain yogurt, you might as well just like up the nutritional value and go for the Greek yogurt, where you're really going to get your bang for the buck when it comes to protein, as in 16 grams of protein. So here we are again, 3/4 of a cup, 170 grams, 90 calories. This is a fat-free yogurt, so there's no fat. It does have 6 grams of carbohydrate because milk has lactose, which is a form of sugar, so it does show up as a carbohydrate. And that, it is right there, 6 grams, no fiber, but 6 grams of that lactose. And then it's 16 grams of protein. Now, I brought this nutrition label up because I wanted to compare this plain Chobani yogurt to the vanilla Chobani yogurt. Plain yogurt is not extremely tasteful. It's kind of has a sour taste. I personally have grown to like the taste of plain yogurt, but obviously vanilla yogurt tastes a lot better. So they're the same except for calories. So it's the same serving size. It's 0 fat. This vanilla yogurt actually has 2 grams less of protein, which is unfortunate, and I'm not exactly sure where those 2 grams of protein went. But it has 40 grams, almost 40 calories more than the plain yogurt, which is 50% increase. And that is coming from added sugars. So in order to make this vanilla Chobani yogurt taste so delicious, they had to add 11 grams of sugar. Okay, so 11 grams of sugar, which is basically carbohydrates, times 4 is 44 grams. You take away 8 calories from the 2 grams of protein here, and that's where we get the 130 versus the 90. So the added sugars are adding these extra calories that are not, building your body. They could be, converted into fat. So what I would like to do in this, eat the vanilla yogurt. Listen, if the only way you're going to eat yogurt is if it's flavored vanilla or berry or whatever it is, eat the vanilla yogurt. But if you're trying to, be diligent and you're trying to actually lose weight, or you're worried about added sugar and controlling glucose spikes, then what I would recommend is you get a tub of the plain and you get a tub of the vanilla. And when you are serving yourself the yogurt, you do either half plain, half vanilla. So then you're cutting this added sugar in half into 5.5, or you do 3/4 of the plain and 1/4 of the vanilla. That will give you the taste that you want, as far as giving you the sweetness of the vanilla or the berry or whatever it is, but cutting kind of those added sugars down. You also can take plain yogurt and you could add your own quote-unquote flavor to it. So you can add honey, and you're in control of the honey, so it's not going to be this 11 grams that you have no control over. You can be in control over it. You could add a small teaspoon or a small spoonful of like a jam or a jelly if you want to get that fruit in there. You can add berries or whatnot, but the easiest thing to do is you buy a tub of the vanilla, you buy a tub of the plain, and you do a ratio of the two, skewing higher on the plain. The last nutrition labels that I want to go over are whole red lentils versus red lentil pasta. So this is lovingly taken from the Glucose Goddess Instagram account. She has a great Instagram account. Everyone should follow her, especially if you're worried about glucose spikes. That's all she basically covers is glucose in the body. So as you can see here, the red lentil pasta and the whole red lentils are exactly the same when it comes to their nutrition labels. 330 calories. The red lentils have a little bit more fat, but not by a lot, just a gram. The red lentil pasta has 50 grams of carbohydrates, a little bit less on the whole red lentils, but all in all, everything is exactly the same. Okay, the only difference is that the red lentil pasta is red lentils, that's all it is, but they are dehydrated, ground up, pulverized into a powder, probably mixed with water to make the pasta. So why does it matter? Why aren't we just eating the exact same thing? Why do we care? Well, we care because of the glucose spike. So as the Glucose Goddess has shown, when you eat the red lentil pasta, your glucose spikes significantly within the first 2 hours of eating it. Whereas eating the same amount of whole red lentils does not create the spike. And why is that? It's the fiber. So the red lentil pasta still has the fiber, but the fiber has been broken down. It has been pulverized and it has been processed into a powder, essentially, and then made into pasta. So when we eat the pasta, our body doesn't have to break that down. That fibrous plant material is already pulverized for us. So it goes into our stomach, goes into our small intestines, gets eaten up a little, but doesn't get really eaten up by the gut microbiome. So we don't get that mucus lining that then like is a barrier to absorbing a lot of the calories. And it just basically gets turned right into carbohydrates and then boom, causes a glucose spike. So this is why eating whole foods, which we will go into a little bit more detail in the following videos, eating whole foods is so important. The way the body digests a whole food is much, much different than a processed food. It slows the whole process down so the body can do what the body needs to do to really digest that food. So in the following videos, we'll talk a little bit more about whole foods and why